Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all the second part of my Shadowverse Evolve starter deck openings. We have the 4th, 5th, and 6th starter deck for the new card game, Shadowverse Evolve, for the English TCG. We have Wrath of the Great Worm, Waltz of the Undying Night, and Immaculate Ablution. I uploaded the first 3 starter decks in the previous video, so check that out if you're looking for the first 3. But we'll go through the final 3, and with these 2 videos, you can choose what deck you think would be the most fitting for you to play in the Shadowverse Evolve series. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. We'll start with the 4th one, which is the Wrath of the Great Worm deck. This has the Dragoncraft in it, so if you're a fan of dragons, this is definitely the Shadowverse deck for you. There's a lot of different dragons, and they have their own unique ability as well, being able to basically unlock it after the 7th turn, or when you have 7 of your tokens. I still have to, the 11 evolution points, can't remember the exact name of it. Still trying to pick up on all the rules, but with each one, you get the little guidebook. And then we have the actual deck as well. So let's go ahead and see what we get with the Dragoncraft. So we have the first, which is the Fafnir, deal 5 damage to each enemy follower on the field. So pretty big damage, I would say. We get the 3 copies of this card. We have Dragon Oracle, a spell. So we get 3 copies of that as well. The Dragon Warrior, so just a play cost of 3, and then a 1 to evolve. We have a Dragon Newt Princess, this is another 3 of, which 3 is the play set for the game as well. We have Dragon Guard, also 3 copies. Fire Lizard, which is 2 copies. Then we have Dread Dragon for the next one. Another 2 of. We have Varrock, which is looks just like a eagle, 3 copies. We have Glint Dragon for another one of our Wormkin, 3 of copy. Dragon Rider. So very similar. It's almost like how there were the Dragon Knights in Future Card Buddy Fight, and then the Dragons or Armor Dragons. Looks like we have both Dragon Knights and Armor Dragons. We have Seabrand Dragon. So, the ability is Overflow. If you're an Overflow, which I believe is like after you hit 7 points, you get the additional abilities thanks to Overflow. Blazing Breath as well, another spell, 2 copies, and then 2 copies of Dragon's Wing. And then the generic one is the Goliath, which we have 2 copies of. Angelic Sword Maiden, and 2 copies of Angelic Snipe, which I've seen in a good majority of the other decks as well. Then we have Dragon Warrior, 3 copies, its evolved form, 3 evolved copies of Rock, 3 evolved copies, I believe, of Dragon Rider, which means the the Goliath should be our evolved for the generic, and then the 3 evolution tokens. And here is our leader for Dragoncraft, Rowan. So they have the thick token cards as well. And then we have the dragon tokens, and then these look like blank tokens, so maybe there just wasn't another token to use for Dragoncraft, or maybe I'm missing something from the Dragoncraft deck. I may have to look back at it and see, but interesting. So that is it for the first deck. Let's move on to the second or the 5th deck in the entire series if you're coming from the first video, which is not that one. It is actually this one, the starter deck, Waltz of Undying Light. So this one is Abysscraft. If I remember correctly, I believe they combined Abysscraft with Bloodcraft and one other class in Shadowverse. So they didn't have the Bloodcraft in the Shadowverse Evolve game. They've combined 2 other ones, I believe, to form the Abysscraft, which is what this one is. So here's the marker again, and then we have the actual deck itself. It looks like some of the cards shifted here in the plastic, but hopefully they are okay. And then we will start off. We have the Queen Vampire, so 3 copies of the Queen Vampire. We have Alucard as well, so 3 copies of Alucard. See, Abysscraft, Bloodcraft, they all still go for the almost like necromancy theme. As I say that, we have here Playful Necromancer, 3 copies. We have Midnight Vampire, so I think this is another 3 of. Night Horde for another 3 of. Spectre, we have 2 copies of. Then we have Spartoy Surgeon. I think I do remember pulling this from the box I opened as well. Undead King, 2 copies. Lesser Mummy, 3 copies. Lilith for our 3 of copies. Then we have Razory Claw, 2 copies. Undying Resentment, 3 copies. Summon Bloodkin, 3 copies. Then for our generics, we have 2 fighters, 2 Goliaths, the Angelic Sword Maiden. Playful Necromancer is our first of the evolved cards, 3 copies. Then we have 3 copies of Lesser Mummy, 3 copies of Lilith evolved, and then our evolved form of the Goliath. Very nice. And then here are our 3 evolution tokens, which if you go second, you get 3 of these to use. Here is our leader for the Abysscraft, which is Luna. And then we have our tokens, which are the 5 copies of the Ghost token, and then the 5 copies of the Forest Bat. So it looks like we have a pretty good variety for the Abysscraft as well. And now on to the final deck, which is the Havencraft. So at first I got like a sort of Paladin vibe, but like World of Warcraft Paladin from the Havencraft, sorry for the mispronunciation there, deck. But I don't know, because then I see like this creature on the front, which almost looks like a Castlevania-like boss monster. So I don't know much about the Havencraft. I guess we'll just have to take a look at the actual cards in the deck and see what they are comprised of. So let's go ahead and jump right in and see what we got. So we have the marker once again, and then the actual deck also. So for this one, we get the plastic off. We have Skullfane. So we get 3 copies of Skullfane. Hair of Illusion, which we should also get 3 of. We have Priest of Cudgall. Another 3 of. Yeah, they almost look like, almost like Paladins, I would say. They definitely do fit that. Maybe the demonic creatures, Acolyte's Light for the next one, are what they control maybe. We have Dual Flames, looks like an amulet. And then Cruel Priestess. A 2 of, we have Snake Priestess. Ardent Nun, 3 copies. We have Guardian Nun, almost like it's more like a holy group than, like the Runecraft. They look more like magic. These look more like Blessed Light kind of characters. Death Sentence, another 2 of. We have Pinion Prayer, 3 copies. Beastly Vow, another 3 copies. Then for our generic, we have an Angelic Sword Maiden, Healing Angel, 2 copies. I wonder if that'll be our evolved form. Then we have Angelic Snipe, 2 copies. I think this has been in the majority of the decks. Priest of the Cudgall, that's our first evolved. Ardent Nun for our next one, 3 copies. Guardian Nun, another 3 of copies. And then we have our 1 Healing Angel, which I believe was in either in the Abysscraft or the Dragoncraft one as well. I don't believe it was Dragoncraft though, or it might have even been in the previous video. And then we have the 3 evolution tokens. And then here is our leader, so Eris for this one. And then for our tokens, we have the 5 copies of Holy Falcon and the 5 copies of the Holy Tiger. So yeah, more like a Holy or Blessed Light kind of deck is the theme that I'm getting for the Havencraft as well. But that is it for the opening. And with that, we have gone through all 6 of the Shadowverse starter decks. With 6 different decks, you have a good variety to choose from for what deck you may want for your own play style. But I definitely am excited to, like I said before, give the game a try. I'm definitely going to be opening up some more booster boxes on the channel as well, so look forward to that. And if you want to see any matchups, definitely do let me know down below which ones you'd like to see. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.